It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and thanks for tuning in to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, you'll find this show on here weekday mornings at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ, a show with a positive message each morning about what people are doing in and around the Tampa Bay and surrounding communities. So I invite you to please tune in, take a break from all the sports news and political talk that dominates our airwaves at this time of the morning, and with a show about what is right with Tampa Bay. As always, the show is always looking for guests and show partners. Best way to get me, if you take a moment to visit my website, tampabayradio.com. Use my contact form. Send me a quick message as to what you're doing in the community and why you'd like to make an appearance on the show. Or if you're looking for a partnership, we're always looking for show partners. We got a number of them with the show now. And again, a great way to grow your business with a great brand here on That Business Show. Also on the website, Tampa Bay Radio, you'll notice I sell real estate. I've been a bank-owned property sales specialist for 8 years now in the Tampa Bay region, working with Coldwell Banker. And you can peruse all the property listings and see all of my bank-owned listings actually prior to hitting the market via the pre-list properties tab on the home page. So it's a great website for both real estate and on-demand information for past shows. Via the show info tab, you can see all the past shows and also review our guest network on the home page. A lot of guests have been through this show, a lot of great information coming out of this show. And so please use the website as a resource for any professional needs you may need in and around the Tampa Bay region. Also, to all my listeners, I always offer a free home valuation to any and all listeners out there. On the homepage of Tampa Bay Radio, there is a link that says Sell Your Home. Click on that, and we'll shoot you over a free home valuation. Typically get those out within 24 to 48 business hours. I got another full house in studio for you today. On the second part of the show, we'll be talking with James Chittenden. He is the CEO and president of Triumph Business Services. So he's going to be talking all about helping businesses through that most critical stage, the startup. So definitely want to stay tuned with him. We'll be talking about the feasibility of a business, how to find funding, how to structure a business. So that's going to be a great segment on the second part of the show. And also I've got Jeff Chernoff, who is an insurance advisor and vice president at Insurance and Trust, a third-generation family-owned business, in studio with me. So we'll be talking with him on the second segment about the insurance business. But up first, Anthony Diaz is the Executive Vice President of Health Hero and has over 15-plus years of experience in leadership in health and wellness. He is a Master Lean Six Sigma Black Belt and has an MBA from the University of Florida. Anthony, welcome to the show today.
Thanks. Great to be here.
So first off, I got to find out, what is Health Hero? What is this?
Yeah, so Health Hero, think of us as a modern employee wellness program where you're getting rewarded for all the healthy stuff that you're doing, whether it's from your Fitbits, your Apple Watch, recording your healthy activity at so if you work for a company, you're going to be getting Health Hero from your benefits broker, your insurance carrier. So modern employee wellness program, you get rewarded 10, 20, 30 bucks a month for getting healthy, right? And Affordable Care Act is ushering in the demand for what we're doing. And on the patient side, so if you're checking out of a hospital, you're going to get Health Hero prescribed to you from your hospital. And, you come in with a broken arm, you're going to get text messages, engaging information, reminders, and all sorts of engaging content from Health Hero to make sure that you are getting the right care after you leave the hospital.
Okay, so I'm over at the website, gohealthhero.com. And so this is an app on the phone, am I correct?
That's correct, yeah. It's a full web app. It's a iOS app, Android app, works through text message, and we integrate with 38 different health apps and 17 different fitness devices as well.
Okay, and so how did this come about, and how long has this been in production?
Yeah, so about a couple of years ago, and how this came about is over the past, I would say, 5 years, I was building global analytic platforms for Fortune 50 clients through Nielsen. And through that process of building software applications, I've always had the passion for health and behavior improvement. And I would say a big catalyst was probably a little over a year ago. I had a personal best friend that I grew up with that passed away suddenly, and it was kind of a catalyst to make me go all in. Was doing a little bit on the side and just doubled down and never looked back, and it's been a blessing since. So
who are your clients? Then you take this to business owners and you pitch them this app, and so tell me the benefits a little bit in more depth to the business owner.
Yeah. The benefit for the business owner is that instead of year over year a 10% increase in your health insurance costs, it's only going to be maybe a 7%. So We improve the health insurance costs. We bring that back to the bottom line. There's no better way to do that than a wellness program focusing on preventative health. We sell to benefit brokers and insurance carriers, so we don't necessarily sell to businesses. We sell to hospital systems and provider systems from the patient side. Benefits there is better readmittance rates. Hospital systems don't get penalized. Affordable Care Act is really pushing hospital systems more and more to have better quality as well. So a lot of what we're doing also is legislation driven. So
okay, so how does the patient then, or the employee, I should say, use the app? Then you're saying they get rewarded for healthy preventative measures, right?
Yeah.
So how am I engaging with this app on my
Absolutely.
phone?
So a perfect day in the life is, let's just say everyone at the studio, at iHeartRadio. We're going to look at our iHeartRadio powered by Health Hero app. It's going to have iHeartRadio's colors logo. We're going to look at a health risk assessment. We're going to take some questionnaires about our health, anywhere from our productivity to nutrition. We're going to go get a biometric screening, maybe at a Quest or LabCorp, get that information into the system on the back end. And then we're going to get incentivized for doing healthy activity. It could be everyone in the studio here has to do 10 healthy activities on Health Hero every single month, and they have to be 30-minute activities. And we can record those manually through text message, through our Apple Watch, through our Fitbit, and everything in between. Get $20 to $50 back on your
And does
paycheck.
this provide a report to the employer and the insurance company that, hey, look, my employee has he ran a mile today, or he went and got a blood pressure check today? So tell me how this works with on the reporting side.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all done in real time, biometrics, HIPAA compliant reporting. The employer gets to see what information is going on in real time. There's no need to wait for reports. For the insurance carrier broker, who's the channel that you would have got, iHeartRadio would have gotten it through, they're going to be getting real-time reports as well to see what's going on. And on a personal basis, you're also getting personalized messages fueled by, not to sound too techno-babbly here, but we use data science on the back end, machine learning, artificial intelligence to make sure messages are going to the right person at the right time. So,
okay. And what about like privacy concerns or anything like that? I guess you're putting this information into this product as the employee, so there's not really any privacy issues if you're putting it in there, right?
No privacy issues. We've taken a lot of precautions to make sure that our application is very secure, HIPAA compliant. We've been under the tutelage of Florida Blue, Ascension Health, HealthBox. So these massive organizations have helped us to grow the product, make sure it's secure. We have a best-in-class technical team as well. So we take that very seriously, data privacy.
Okay, so then the employer gets a report, and does the insurance company get it too? Does the employer have to then turn it over to the insurance agent and say, hey, look what we're doing, give us a discount? Tell me, I'm just trying to understand a little bit better.
Different views of information for different parties. Their insurance carrier, obviously, an employer, their insurance cost is going to go down based on the number of claims that they're getting. So this isn't a turnaround process. This is going to take anywhere from 20 to 24 months for the insurance cost to improve. And then in the immediate basis, it's really a cultural improvement as well, right? So the chief human resource officer is the one that cares about it year one. The CFO kicks in year two, starts to really care about it because they're seeing an impact on the bottom line into their profits.
Now, is there anything else out there on the market that's like this? You talked about your inspiration for launching this company, but where did you see this demand for this? Did something else, was there another product on the market that you said, hey, I think I could better this? Or, because I've never seen anything like this.
No, I appreciate that. There are some competitors in the market. Specifically, there's Red Brick, there's Limeade, there's Humana Vitality. And how we're different is we take those companies only focus on Fortune 500. But being here in Florida, 90% of the businesses that are here in Florida are small and mid-size. So if every small and mid-size business got on the phone and wanted to call Red Brick, Limeade, and Humana Vitality, they're not going to call you back. And if anything, what makes us different and unique is we take all that complexity and abstractness, we simplify it, we take that complex coordination and make it very modular. So those programs can be deployed on our platform instantaneously within less than a minute. Your colors, your logo, your branding, your own health in a box program on demand, a fraction of the cost, and then the brokers get to make money and leverage it strategically for their clients.
How has the demand been from the business community for this app? Are you getting a lot of interest in this? Or?
Yeah, right now we are in a state where we're kind of drowning in opportunity in a good way. It's highly in demand, and also on the provider system. There's really no one out in the market that's doing employee wellness, employer services. So hospital systems are wanting to do more things for the employer groups. There's no one doing it so there's no one doing it all three. So we've kind of created this own category in the market called provider wellness. So huge demand for what we're doing. Absolutely.
Wow, sounds like a great little product here that you've put together. So hopefully some business owners will take heed to what you talked about today and will reach out to you. Best way to get you, see a phone number, 813-220-0084, 813-220-0084. They can visit the website, gohealthhero.com, right?
Correct. Yep.
All right. Anthony, thank you very much. Great little product there, and I appreciate you coming in and talking to me this morning.
Appreciate it. Thanks so
and
much.
Again, that was Anthony Diaz, Executive Vice President of Health Hero. Learn more about him and his company at gohealthhero.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 Wins WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Good morning. Slow traffic on all the Bay Area bridges into Tampa, including the Courtney Campbell Causeway, Howard Franklin, and the Gandy, but no reported incidents on any of those bridges. Do have southbound traffic on the Veterans Expressway, slow from Ehrlich to around Waters. Also a crash on 50th Street, north of Dr. King, blocking the left lane in both directions. Crash on 580 just east of US 19. And southbound 19 is slow through Holiday. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Urich Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the American Association for Cancer Research. The American Association for Cancer Research is the world's first and largest organization dedicated to finding cures through research. Please support cancer research by donating today at www.aacrfoundation.org.
Today, hot with a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 80. Tomorrow, a 40% rain chance, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back to the program, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, this show airs weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ and is a business variety show, a little bit something different each morning as I talk to different business owners, entrepreneurs, political and community leaders about what they are doing to make a difference in and around Tampa Bay. Time to bring on my next guest for the show. Jeff Chernoff is an insurance advisor and vice president at Insurance and Trust, a third-generation family-owned business. Jeff focuses on providing package policies for individuals and families, life insurance, disability income, and long-term care. Jeff, welcome to the show today.
Thanks for having me, Jamie.
So, third generation, tell me the story of the family business.
Sure. So, my grandfather actually worked at a union facility back in the 1950s, and they went on strike. And he said, I can't do this anymore. So he actually applied to work at Metropolitan Life up in Brooklyn, New York. And he worked at Metropolitan Life from 1959 to 1981. And my grandfather was always very generous in that anyone that wanted a job in insurance, he would always try and get someone a job, which is part of the reason why I have 9 family members that actually either worked in insurance or still work in insurance. Mm-hmm. And so my father started working at MetLife from 1974 until about 1984. And he realized that he didn't want to always be a hamster spinning on a wheel. And so he decided to open up his own business in 1984. And so that was originally was Insurance and Things. And then he changed the name to Insurance and Trust because he wanted people to work with a company that they felt like they could trust someone.
So it went from Insurance and Things to an Insurance and Trust.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a nice little name change.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in the family business?
Well, I started working as many kids in the family business. I started working on weekends, holidays when I was 12. My younger brother actually, when he was about 15 or 16, also worked in the business. And I had no interest in insurance. I actually have a master's degree in educational leadership in higher education. And so when my wife and I were looking for jobs in 2010, she got a job at USF. And I looked around, and at that time, there really wasn't much in higher ed. So my father said, come in, see what you think. And it turned out it was a perfect fit, and I absolutely love what I do.
Now, tell me about the different products that your company offers.
Sure. So we specialize in personal lines, property, and casualty. That would be, for example, home, auto, flood, umbrella. And we specialize in life insurance, disability income, and long-term care. What's interesting about that is that our business is what we call a mail order business. We have a lot of clients that before they work with us, they've never met their agent. They wouldn't even know what he or she looks like. Mm-hmm. Whereas what our niche is, we still go into our clients' homes or into their businesses and meet with them 30 to 45 days prior to renewal and really make sure that we're trying to save them money every single year and making sure that we're not sacrificing their coverage in order to save their money.
Now, you see here on TV these big box brands save 15% and in 15 minutes, but you're giving up value and stuff in exchange for that. Tell me why you shouldn't be drawn into those typical pitches.
Sure.
Save 15.
Sure. What I would say is that there's five different coverages when it comes to auto insurance, and one of the first things that one of those name brands, Geico, will do is if they can't save you money, they're going to try and cut some of the bigger expenses. And there's a reason why insurance is incredibly complicated. It's a contract, and so and that's really all it is a contract between an insurance company and then you as the consumer. And so if they can't save you money, since that's their brand, they're going to unfortunately sacrifice coverage. And one of the most important coverages that they oftentimes sacrifice is something that's called uninsured motorist.
Uninsured motorists. Yeah, explain that to the people out there, the importance of uninsured motorists, because, that's actually a big problem out there with all the people driving without insurance.
Sure.
Tell me about this.
So uninsured motorist is if you are involved in an accident that's not your fault, or if it's a hit and run that you didn't cause, and
it's actually a big problem.
It's a huge problem.
It's actually a lot of people out there do not carry insurance, and it's a way that a lot of people look to save on their policies by cutting that out. But tell me about this.
So what's interesting is that I want to say back in 2010, 24% of people living in Florida don't have insurance, and I don't know what today's statistic is, but from the last time that I saw, what's interesting about that is that if you're dealing with folks who don't have insurance or have less insurance than they're quote unquote supposed to, Uninsured motorist is what's going to pay you. Conversations that I have with personal injury attorneys all the time tell me that that is the most important coverage. And personal injury attorneys who specialize in auto insurance and know the ins and outs try and get as much uninsured motorists as they possibly can.
Now, one thing that I'm hearing a lot more about, and some that my advisors have told me, is the importance of an umbrella policy. It's something I've heard, just in passing, growing up. But tell us about what an umbrella policy does and how it can protect people.
Sure. So the reason it's called an umbrella policy is that if you picture an umbrella, it provides extra protection. So you have your homeowner's policy, which will give basic liability, usually in the amount of, say, $300,000. And then you have your auto insurance policy that will give you bodily injury coverage, usually in the amount of a lot of people will have 100,000, 300,000, but some people will have as much as 250,000 per person, 500,000 per accident. What the umbrella does is it gives you excess liability. And so if you're concerned about your net worth and you want to make sure that you have that protection, then you can get that extra protection. A lot of times we'll see in our marketplace people can get up to $5 million. What's also interesting about that is that a lot of companies will offer something called excess uninsured motorist. And so if you're a dentist or a lawyer or a CPA and what you do is so dependent upon your hands or things of that nature, and if you're in a car accident and God forbid you lose your arm, you're done and you're professional a lot of times. And although you may have a disability policy is going to pay you for your income. It's not going to pay you to fix your house if you need.
So who needs an umbrella policy then? Does everybody need one? Everyone with a family, or should just business owners have an umbrella policy? Who needs them?
We recommend that everyone has an umbrella policy. They're usually incredibly affordable. You might see for $1 million as little as $400 a year. So it's incredibly affordable. But generally speaking, people that live in some type of home or have a homeowner's policy and have multiple autos usually are the best fit for that.
Now, another product, life insurance, something a lot of people don't think of until they get older in life. But tell us, why people need to be looking at life insurance at a younger age.
Well, life insurance is actually bought with your health, and you just pay for it with money. There is every single person in this room or otherwise is going to become uninsurable. It's just a matter of when, whether that's because you age out of a product or because your health changes. You're never healthier now than you are at this moment or that moment or that moment. And so as a result, the younger you are, the healthier you are, the cheaper it is for insurance. And so you can usually afford to get more coverage the younger that you are.
Now, these also build up long-term cash value, right? Tell me about how they can be used as a financial tool as well, in addition to just, general protection.
Absolutely. So insurance, if you have a permanent policy, whether that's whole life or universal life or indexed universal life, what it does is you pay your premium, say monthly or yearly, and a portion of that premium goes to pay the cost of insurance, but then the remaining premium actually goes into a cash value account. Depending on the way the account's set up, it could earn as much as 3.5% guaranteed, and in some instances can earn as much as 12 or 13.5%, depending on how it's set up. And so if you do that with compound interest over a period of 20 or 30 years, you're going to have generally a large sum of money that's in that account. And so a lot of times when people are, say, 65 or 70 and their kids are out of the house, they say, oh, well, what can I do? You can either guarantee the policy with what's left. You can, and not have to make any more payments. You can say, well, let me utilize it as an income stream on a tax-free basis. Or let me utilize it to purchase a new house, or finally redecorate, or those sorts of things that normally would require either large sums of money or having to get a loan from a bank.
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of different concerns that go into purchasing these different types of insurance products, and so an advantage with Insurance and Trust is that you offer in-home consultations, right? You're not a big box provider in the sense that you're talking to somebody over the phone. You come to people and you provide customer service the way it's meant to be, correct?
Absolutely.
Now, where are your locations at for the consumers out there?
We are located on Dale Mabry in between Humphrey and Waters, but have hybrid, will travel. So, and that's also part of our value proposition. Our three agents, which would be my father, Jennifer Versace, and then myself, we are very willing to meet our clients, and that's part of the advantage of working with us, is that we'll come visit you, so that way you don't have to be taken out of what's going on in your business or in your home life.
Sounds like a plan. Jeff, I appreciate you coming in and talking with me this morning.
Thank you.
And that was Jeff Chernoff, Vice President of Insurance and Trust. You can reach out to him, 813-933-7333, and learn more about him at www.iat.bz. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Causeway from the Big Bridge to Rocky Point. Also, very slow traffic on Howard Franklin Bridge about mid-span into the Kennedy and West Shore areas. We have a crash on State Road 580 just east of US 19 still being cleared. Also one on McIntosh north of I-4. And also eastbound Hillsborough Avenue near Memorial. There was one also being moved out of your way. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uderick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by iHeartMedia.
At iHeartMedia, we've harnessed the power of sound in a way that can help you expand your reach to a new group of target customers and grow your business through customized and effective advertising. Call 844-BUY-RADIO or go to iHeartMedia.com.
1250 winds, weather center forecast. A 40% chance of showers today. Possible stray morning shower, then we'll see them kick up in the mid-afternoon. Mix of sun and clouds with the high today reaching the low to mid-90s. Evening showers possible and the low tonight upper 70s near 80. Impact Radio 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 winds, WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. A show with a positive message each morning as I talk to many different business owners, entrepreneurs, political and community leaders about what they are doing in Tampa Bay to make a difference. Also, the show, again, always looking for guests and material for the show. Please feel free to reach out to me. Best way to get me is through my contact form at tampabayradio.com. Just send me a message over there as to what it is that you're doing and why you'd like to make an appearance on this show. And you'll become part of the growing network of past guests that have been on this show. And I'm approaching, or may even have exceeded some 300 some guests in on this show. So it's an excellent resource for your business and also an excellent resource for all the listeners out there that are listening to the show, because I learn something on each and every one of my shows, get inspiration from the different guests that I have in this studio, hear their stories of how they stepped outside the box, and hopefully the show inspires you, the listener, to step outside the box and do something different, do something that you enjoy, and not just spend your days working for somebody else, making somebody else rich. So that's what this show is all about. And again, I invite you to tune in weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ and learn more about the show at tampabayradio.com. Time to bring on my next guest for the show. James Chittenden is the CEO and president of Triumph Business Services, a company that helps entrepreneurs through a critical critical and challenging time, the actual start of the business. He offers entrepreneurs insight based on years of deep involvement in the banking and finances of businesses and their owners. James, welcome to the show today.
Good morning. Thank you.
So first off, James, let's talk a little bit about your background in business. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I got out of the Marine Corps about 12 years ago in 2003, late 2003. And when I did, I got a master's in business administration, and I wanted to go home and become a stockbroker. That was my dream. So I did that for a little while. And by early 2004, 2005, the stock market had cooled down a bit, and the real estate market heated up. So I decided to go into banking. So I took the investment licenses, and I went into banking, and I was a business banker for a long time. I helped hundreds, probably well over 1,000 small businesses over the course of doing that. And I began to learn something. I began to see some patterns as I helped all these different businesses. When you go to a business banker, they have your credit file, they have your credit report, they've got your transaction history. Basically, they can do a complete financial colonoscopy on you. And after a while, I began to notice something. It was like a doctor who does so many x-rays and sees people on the inside. Before too long, what's on the inside begins to match what's on the outside. And a few simple traits begin to surface after observing 1,000 businesses.
Right.
And based on that, I realized that, regardless of what the economy is doing, whether it's good or whether it's bad, there are some things that make people successful in business, regardless of what the economy is doing. It's all about finding your own best inner resources, and not only your own best inner resources, but connecting with other resources, such as the Small Business Development Center, or
the Small Business Development Center. Explain that. What is this?
The Small Business Development Center is it's usually done by universities, counties, chambers of commerce. Sometimes it gets funding from banks and that sort of thing. It's also funded by the Small Business Administration. It's a resource by which small business owners can get consulting at no charge, from experienced business professionals.
Okay.
And also classes or seminars at a very low cost as well, in a variety of things that are crucial to business success.
Okay, so that's the Small Business Development Center?
Small Business Development Center, that's right. There are many different resources. There are many different ways of getting a business started. A lot of people think that it's this great, big, expensive, and painful undertaking. It doesn't have to be. That's the good news. There are places where you can get a website done for free. Of course, there's strings attached. You've got to use their web hosting. There are places where you can get search engine optimization or web web visibility.
SEO, search engine optimization,
right,
yes.
Or web visibility. I mean, they're two different things, and you can get those also free. After all, what does it cost you to set up a Facebook page, a LinkedIn account, or a Twitter feed? Not all those things may be appropriate for everybody, but nonetheless, they are useful, and they can be great resources for you in building a business.
Okay. So when you were working in banking and finance and people were coming to you with their small business ideas, the ones who succeeded, what did they do well? And what were some of the ones who didn't succeed? What were they not doing well? Talk to me a little bit about, what you were seeing as a banker.
That's a great question, Jamie. What most people were doing well is that they would actually set up a business properly. Here's an example. Had a young couple, both of them in their 30s, and they set up this deli in South Tampa. And the deli was fantastic. You go in there, and they always had the best sandwiches, piled high with the choicest meats, the freshest ingredients, and they would charge about $6 a sandwich. And I said, this is fantastic. I would pay $12 for this sandwich. Why are you not charging more? I'm just curious. And they said, well, we're looking to add a lot of value so that we can get a loyal customer following. And I said, that's wonderful. And I did everything I could to support them just because I liked what they were doing. Now, 6 months goes by, and I would go and visit that deli again. I was a pretty regular customer. And they were, over time, they didn't look quite as nice. I'm talking about this couple. They didn't look quite as fresh. They weren't quite as welcoming. They were worn out. They spent all of their time and all of their resources at this deli. And then before too long, they wanted to sell alcohol. They wanted to sell wine at this deli. And the problem is they were right across the street from a major church. And the church had as its congregation some of Tampa's most politically and socially vocal people. Well, they lined up against the wet zoning that was necessary at the city council, wet zoning, where you permit to sell alcohol. And this young couple didn't really have the time or the wherewithal to mount the public relations campaign that was necessary to get the wet zoning. And so they did not get the wet zoning. They were out of business about 2 months later. The moral of the story is you can be really good at what you do. You can have the best deli. You can build the most beautiful websites. You can be the best, the best designer of classic cars, whatever it is. But you have to have some fundamental business skills before you can, if you're going to survive and you're going to stay in business.
Did they pack up and go down the road somewhere else, or did the business, ultimately?
They just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just kind of disappeared. I don't know where they are. I wish them well.
Yeah.
But it's just one example of someone who was very good and very passionate about what they did, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah. Let's talk about the, developing an idea, the feasibility of an idea. How do you coach people on the next great idea? Everybody has the next great idea, so to speak. But how do you determine, if your idea is feasible?
You're right. Everybody has the next blockbuster app. Everyone has the next game-changing technology. But what good is that if it doesn't solve a problem for somebody? So I guess that there are a few different ways to look at it. But one of the most important things you need to do as a new business owner is get out of your own way. It's very easy to fall in love with your own brand. It's very easy to fall in love with your own concept, your own idea. But the fact is, everybody, whenever they have a problem or an issue, it's always like this to them. But what you usually need is someone to take that, set it aside, and look at it from another angle. Someone who's a little bit more objective. You need a brain trust. You need a financial advisor. You might need an attorney, an accountant. That doesn't mean that you turn to them for every decision. You don't. But you need people who are trusted, people who have your best interest at heart, and people who are on your team. The second litmus test I would give you was put on, when we were bankers, we would often ask ourselves, would we lend our own money for this particular project? And if you can't answer that objectively, ask yourself this. If you have a business idea, would you mortgage your mother's house to pay for this idea? Would you cash out your child's college fund with the expectation that the money would be back, that you'd be able to put the money back when it was needed? You got to ask yourself those things. And if not, then maybe you don't have that much confidence in your own idea, and maybe you ought to rethink it.
What's a good first step for the entrepreneur that has the next great, product or service? Should they focus on writing a business plan first, or where should they start?
People write business plans for a variety of reasons, but the best reason you should do it is for yourself. It's basically it's a roadmap. It's for you. It's for you first and foremost. But it's also for your employees. It's for the people of your business.
Should they employ a person to write that for them? There's a lot of people out there that write business plans. It can be quite costly, right, to get a professional to write a business plan for you, right?
It certainly can. That's a great question, Jamie. You can pay someone to do it for you, or you can just go and find a template, or, of course, the Small Business Development Center offers courses in it. Or you can just find a template online, and it basically walks you through writing.
Did most people, when you were a banker, bring you the template approach, and were you kind of like, all right, this guy obviously doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe he should hire a professional. What were you seeing as a banker when people were giving you their ideas?
Oh, some of the stuff was really pie in the sky, but when you look at their financial projections, you could tell that they were trying to impress you.
Yeah.
Wow, look at these eye-popping numbers that I've got. But the fact is that most businesses are going to lose money in their first couple of years. And if you're going to lose money, then go ahead and project it. Hey, why not? It's honest.
Right.
And you'll get points from your investors or your lenders for just being honest. It's expected. Now, no one's crystal ball works perfectly. So you can't see in advance exactly how that business is going to perform. But it needs to be realistic, and it needs to be based on industry norms. Whatever your industry is, as long as your business is growing in accordance with industry norms, and they're not too hard to find if you actually look. As long as it's growing in a way that's consistent with industry norms, then it's realistic.
Let's talk about funding sources. Obviously, you have the traditional banks as a funding source, but where are places that entrepreneurs can go to find non-traditional sources of funding? I mean, obviously, a lot of investors are out there, but the banks obviously want stuff very in line. So to get a major bank behind you is very difficult. But where can people find funding sources out there?
That's a good question. Thank you for asking. And usually where people go for funding sources are the biggest and most visible sources of funding there is. They think Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Chase. But the fact is those are the most strict banks. To get a loan at Bank of America, for example, you need to have been in business for at least 2 years and had prior year revenue of $250,000. So that rules out pretty much all startups.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get it done, the best way to get it done is, of course, personal savings. Because if you got personal savings, you owe nobody anything. You're accountable to no one except yourself and, of course, the business. If not, then, of course, there's an SBA loan. There's an SBA back loan. The Small Business Administration actually insures loans, if you will. But those also are pretty tough to get. And so there's really no substitute for finding a good partner. And, of course, spelling out in advance how the partnership is going to work. And for that, I
want to talk about structure of a business here. I got to take a quick break, but I'm currently talking with James Chittenden, CEO and President of Triumph Business Services. Coming back from the break, though, we're going to talk about how to structure your business and questions you need to be asking yourself to make sure that you get the right structure for your business up front. You're currently listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WINS WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage wants you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Eastbound side of Courtney Campbell Causeway still very slow into Tampa. Same goes for the Howard Franklin Bridge. Southbound East Lake Road very slow from Landsbrook Parkway to the Boot Ranch area due to an earlier crash there. Getting reports of a crash now on 301 and Bloomingdale, and still slow traffic on the interstates through downtown Tampa on westbound I-4 from the Selma Connector to 275. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call their 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Today, hot with a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 80. Tomorrow, a 40% rain chance, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, weekday mornings, 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. Learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Also, please connect with me on all the different social media sites, Facebook.com/That Business Show for all the show updates. And please follow me over on Twitter under the name Jamie_Maloney. Also, all shows are streamed here live in studio, so you can watch the live stream via the Watch Live Stream button on TampaBayRadio.com, and also catch the show on demand over on my YouTube channel. Just search for That Business Show or Jamie Maloney. Currently talking with James Chittenden, CEO and President of Triumph Business Services, all about what it takes to start up a business, the most challenging phase of any entrepreneurial path. And James, let's talk a little bit about how to structure a business. Obviously, you don't just go in there under your own name. There's LLCs, triple LPs, LPs, all kinds of different structures out there, enough to make your head spin. I took a business law class in college, I remember, and I was like, man, there's just so much goes into these things. But tell me, first off, do people need to hire an attorney to know what type of structure they need to do with their business?
Well, yes and no. It all depends. It depends on how complex your business is. Of course, there are 4 different types. There's a sole proprietorship, which means that it's just you, and it's everything is under your social security number. You have complete control, and you have complete liability too.
Why would anybody ever structure business as a sole proprietor? Because doesn't that open you up to a ton of risk if the name is under just Jamie Maloney, for instance?
It can. It can open you up to a lot of risk, and it's not the cleanest way to do it. It also limits your ability to grow. I mean, after all, if I'm a banker and I'm going to lend you money if I'm going to lend you money, I don't know, and the bank can't tell if the money is being lent to you personally or if it's being lent for business purposes. So you can't really get capital so easily if you have a sole proprietorship, and that limits your ability to grow. A partnership, on the other hand, is 2 or more sole proprietors. That's you and me going into business together. You might have some asset that I don't have, and I might have some asset that you don't have, and so 2 heads are better than 1. We're now a partnership. Again, you and I are both equally liable for everything. Any and all partners can take action, and whatever I do, you're responsible for, and whatever you do, I'm responsible for. And if you and I are on bank accounts and I decide that I want to just take all the money and go follow the Rolling Stones on tour, there's nothing that you can do about that. And so, again, that's not quite as popular a business structure as it was in generations past, which leaves you with corporations and LLCs. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. Corporations are a very old form of business. They're about 600 or 700 years old, older than this country. They originated in Europe. And therefore, there's a body of laws that's behind it. And everybody more or less understands what it means, and its best feature, of course, is a veil of protection between your personal assets and liabilities and those of the business. And you can set up a corporation in one state and do business in any other state. And so that's the great thing about it. You don't have to go and, if you set up a corporation in Florida or Delaware or California or wherever, you don't have to go and set up another one if you do business in another state. It's not unlike your driver's license or vehicle registration. You can have one in one state, but driving your car in another state is
What is it about
problem.
Delaware and corporations? It seems like a number of businesses incorporate in Delaware. They have some favorable laws, I guess, but Delaware is a very popular place to incorporate, right?
It is, and the reason for that is low taxes, low regulation. Yes, it's a popular place to do it. It's a little bit like people flagging ships that come from Liberia. It's just an easier place to do it. But the fact is, Florida is also a very friendly.
So you wouldn't advise a Florida entrepreneur to incorporate outside of Florida. Florida is a perfectly fine state to incorporate in.
Florida is perfectly fine. You can set up a corporation or an LLC in Florida, and they turn it around pretty quickly. And the taxes here aren't particularly brutal, and neither is the regulation, at least not compared to some other states, such as in the Northeast or on the West.
So how does a corporation then differ from the LLC? Because it seems like every business, at least I deal with, seems to be LLC these days instead of INC.
That's the hot thing these days. Now, basically an LLC is a hybrid. That's what it was meant to be. We said corporations are rather old. LLCs are not. They were the first one appeared in Germany in 1892, and they only recently made their way to the United States. They've only been legal in Florida for about 16 years now. The problem with LLCs is not every state allows them. And so if you set up an LLC in one state, it may not be so easy to go and set up operations in another state, such as setting up an office or hiring employees.
Okay, so corporation gives you a broader range of being able to practice your business in across the entire country then. Okay, so that's one difference.
An LLC is meant to offer you flexibility in how you get taxed. If you are a single-member LLC, then you get taxed like a sole proprietor, which means that income from the business is taxable to you and expenses and losses are deductible for you. The problem is that with single-member LLCs, they don't really have the liability protection that they did before. That was because of people abusing, LLC laws. In other words, one famous case, one notorious case was where a man he had his LLC buy a speedboat, and he was always taking clients out on the speedboat over the weekend. And sometimes he wouldn't use it. Sometimes he would take that speedboat out personally. And one day he had a little too much to drink, and he wrecked the speedboat, and he hurt someone real bad. And so the plaintiff's attorney, of course, wants to sue both him personally and the LLC. So that corporate veil that I was talking about got pierced. And so that's why single-member LLCs are not as safe as they used to be due to some laws that took place in Florida that changed effective January 1st of 2015. In another egregious case, a man was filing for bankruptcy. He had about $10 million in assets. He simply sets up an LLC, and he takes all of his assets and he puts it in that LLC. And again, it was just a naked attempt to evade his creditors and paying his bills. So again, the judge allowed the corporate veil to be pierced. So the answer is you can either take on a partner if you're going to set up an LLC, or maybe set up an S corporation. An S corporation means small corporation. It's basically
your S corp and C corp. What's the differences between those two different things?
Well,
just a brief discussion.
Sure. A C corp is basically a big corporation.
So the typical small business owner is going to form under an S corp then?
Yes.
Okay.
S corporation, think small corporation. In most cases, not in all cases, but in the vast majority of cases, yes, you can set up as an S corporation, which pretty much means that you have less regulatory requirements and the taxes tend to be a little bit easier. In other words, with a C corporation, you'll get double taxed. The corporation makes a taxable profit, and then what's left over gets distributed to owners or shareholders, and they all pay taxes on it as well. The rich people gripe about that. Hard to feel sorry for them because they're rich. I hope that we all have that problem. So,
yeah, that's actually
we all have that problem.
Actually, that was a lesson my accountant gave me when I first started in real estate. I didn't know what I was doing, but luckily my broker at the time said, you need to go talk to an accountant right away and get incorporated. So I went down there. He explained to me why I needed to be an S corp and all that stuff. And exactly to your point there, he explained to me the reduction in taxes, things like that. And I see a lot of people out there in real estate that are still just under the sole proprietorship, and they don't understand, the risks associated with that, or at least what they're losing, so to speak. So, but James, I got to wrap this one up. A great discussion. I'd love to be able to sit here and talk with you a lot more, but I got a lot out of this interview, and I'm sure our listeners did as well.
Likewise, thank you.
Absolutely. And that was James Chittenden, CEO and President of Triumph Business Services. Well, I got to wrap up another great show. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Tomorrow morning, we'll have Working Women Wednesdays, a weekly feature brought to us by the Working Women of Tampa Bay Networking Group. Learn more about them over at Working Women of Tampa Bay. It's always a great workingwomenoftampabay.com. That's always a great segment. A lot of fun doing that show each and every Wednesday. And also thanks to my guests on the first part of the show, Jeff Chernoff, Insurance Advisor and Vice President at Insurance and Trust, and also Anthony Diaz, Executive Vice President of Health Hero. You've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney. I'll see you all back in here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Have a great day, everybody.